Now, there's a lot of ways to do business. This one seems to polarise more than most. So, which side are you on?
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show and home of Australia's #1 small business marketing forum. I am your host, Timbo Reid, but you, so much more importantly, are a motivated small business owner ready to crank out. That's it, crank out some great marketing. Big show today, team, and it is wonderful to be back in the Small Business Big Marketing cave, studio, HQ, whatever you want to call it. I am having a chat with multi-level marketer, network marketer, whatever you want to call him, Paul McEnany. He is the second largest distributor of Isagenix in Australia, which is a network marketing product taking the world by storm at the moment. A polarising chat. I'm sure some of you are screwing your nose up. Others will be quite excited to hear what Paul's got to say. Also got some listener feedback from Prince Julian. Yep, Prince Julian. Inspirational quote of the week. We've got that coming up. I want to take you inside a blog post challenge that I just started this week with my son and give you a bit of a forum update. So much marketing gold, so little time. Righto, so listener feedback from, well, it's not quite Prince Julian, but here's the thing. I often say when I'm talking about my podcast from stage, the fact that it gets downloaded in 110 countries. That's what Google Analytics tells me. And one of those countries is Kazakhstan, which always gets a laugh. And, you know, what is Borat doing listening to my show? But, however, I now have a listener in Madagascar. I thought it might have been Prince Julian when I saw the email, but it's not. It is Kev. And it's a very short email. He says, "Hey, Timbo, thanks for those podcasts. Kevin, a fan who come from ... Madagascar! ! In brackets, yes, you have a fan from Madagascar. Cheers, Kevin Raja Asafara." Hey, Kev. Love it, mate. Thank you. I don't even know where Madagascar is. I should have got the atlas out. Us Aussies, we're a bit insular when it comes to overseas kind of geography, but it sounds exotic. It sounds like a place I need to go to. I need to do a show from Madagascar. Kev, is there a Madagascar Chamber of Commerce or some kind of business association that could do with a little bit of marketing love? I'd love to go there. Very, very exotic. And I'm just rapt that you've reached out, Kev, and made yourself known. Maybe there are other listeners in Madagascar. Maybe there are listeners in other exotic places around the world. If there are, hit me up. I'd love to know where you listen to the show from. Send me an email, tim@smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Okay, team, bookmark this website address. 99, that's the number, 99designs.com.au/SBBM. That stands for Small Business Big Marketing. Now, why am I asking you to bookmark it? Because as a business owner, I encourage you to ensure all your marketing touch points are designed beautifully, that they look schmick. After all, us consumers, you know, we're a judgmental lot. We love lovely looking things. And that's where 99 Designs can help. Not only do they make this show possible, but they'll make anything you need designed rock without breaking the bank. And that's guaranteed, by the way. Check these prices out. Logo design from $299. A brand identity pack, that's logo, stationery and Facebook cover, from $599. A brochure design from $299. Product packaging from $399. It's crazy prices. Great design provides a real point of difference in what is now a crowded marketplace, and that's why many motivated business owners have turned to 99 Designs, including many listeners of this show. Thanks for those who have. You'll get maximum creativity with 99 Designs contest model, where dozens of designers compete to deliver the best design for you. You get to be involved in the process and walk away with a design that truly represents your brand. See for yourself. It only takes 1 week and you're guaranteed to love it. Visit 99designs.com.au/SBBM and get an exclusive listener gift of a $99 power pack of services, which on average results in 185% more designs for free today. That's 99designs.com.au/SBBM. So I'm on a blog challenge with my son. Here's how it came about. Jack, he's finishing school this year. I'm a bit emotionally, a bit sad about that. He's in year 12 and he's got his exams coming up in a few weeks' time, and he's on a 2-week holiday right now. Well, holiday, term break. There ain't no holiday in the lead up to exams, let me tell you. And his English teacher has suggested that he do a 1-hour essay from a past exam paper once a day, to which he screwed up his nose. But I got the whip out and said, hey, Jack, let's be accountable, mate. Let's be accountability buddies. If you write a 1-hour essay per day from an old exam paper, I'll write a blog post per day. And that's what we're doing. And it's working a treat. I've written, so you can go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and hit the blog button. You'll see my blog post. You won't see Jack's essays. I don't think they'll be that interesting when it comes to marketing. They're probably pretty good essays. He is my son, after all. I'm 4 blog posts in. I've written one. Here's the headings of the 4 I've written. 9 ways to take action. Another one is for those hankering for some positivity, giving you some tips on how to stay positive as this world gets a little bit crazy. The other one, next one, is how to never run out of helpful content, plus 5 must-dos before speaking from stage. So all blog posts about how to improve your marketing, how to generate more inquiry, and I'm actually loving it. And the whole accountability thing is working really, really well for me, and Jack's smashing out an essay a day as well. So a little blog post challenge. Why don't you do it as well, hey? Find someone, buddy up. Doesn't have to be blog posts, but do some kind of marketing where you buddy up with someone else and set yourself the challenge. Now, I know many of your listeners got a bit of a laugh from forum member Nick's little insight into the Small Business Big Marketing Forum last week. That crazy Colorado accent he put on. I can't do it. That's embarrassing. But the forum is rocking, team. There is so much marketing gold inside there. I'll give you some topics that we're currently discussing or that members have posted and are looking for help on. We've got Jace is looking for help with shooting an intro video for his website and getting some great tips there. We've got Lee is asking about content scheduling and how he should go about that. Sarah's asking about how to market a depression services. Sarah's husband, Lindsay, past guest, is a psychologist and looking for tips there. We've got Smell This, I love that's Kate's business, is a business that sells perfume, about to open up in regional Victoria, actually, and she's looking for ideas on a launch party. And I've got a post going called If All Else Fails, and If All Else Failed. And it's a post that kind of says, hey, if what you're doing right now, for whatever reason, had to stop, what's your plan B and what's your plan C? And that's been a really, really good discussion. Sounds a negative discussion. It's not at all. It's just interesting to think, what else could you do if your business shut down today? And that's had some fantastic discussion. You can join the forum over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, and there is a meetup for forum members at 4:30 today. So too late. This episode goes out next week, but I'll be able to talk about the meetup next week. Forum members were catching up, and then all listeners are welcome an hour later, and that's in Melbourne. So really looking forward to that this afternoon. Have to go and get a bit of a haircut, get the lippy off the teeth, look my best, but look forward to that. Love building a tribe, love seeing motivated small business owners get together with the sole intent, well, of having fun and growing your business. Now, how's that digital footprint of yours going, team? Like, what would I find if I visited your website? Have you got a website? Hey, have you? Would you show up if I search for something relevant to your industry? I do hope so. But if not, and you're starting to think you're an online failure, don't. You're not alone. And fortunately, the solution to marketing your business online is a lot closer and cost-effective than you think. Thanks to the very good folk at Net Registry, who not only make this show possible, team, but are superstars at getting your online marketing sorted. They can get you a domain name, the best hosting solution, website design and development, even a Google AdWords campaign. So what are you waiting for? Head over to netregistry.com.au today and tell them Timbo sent you. Let's get stuck in to today's guest, who is Paul McInerney, and he is Australia's second largest distributor of Isagenix, which is a weight loss wellbeing supplement that is taking the network marketing world by storm at the moment. I got introduced to Paul through my speaking coaches, Troy and Zara, who were up on the Gold Coast a few months ago at a health retreat, and they met Paul and his wife, Suzanne. And they got talking. Paul needed a bit of marketing love, and Troy and Zara kindly introduced them to me. At the same time, I've had two mates in the last 6 months have some amazing results through using this product called Isagenix. One mate lost a considerable amount of weight and now is a lean, mean fighting machine. And my other mate just wanted to get his diet back in order and used it. So amazing results. So it was coming at me from both angles. Plus, I haven't had the network marketing discussion on this show for quite a long time, since episode 18, actually, when I had Cody Bateman, who is the founder of Send Out Cards. So I thought it was time to have it again, because after all, network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it, is a form of marketing. It's a very effective form of marketing. We hear these stories of people making a lot of money from it, and I think it's a discussion that needs to be had on the show. It's also a very polarizing form of business. So, I'd love to hear what side of the fence you're on. Listen to this interview first. I go into it with my cynic's hat on, as I say to Paul, and I ask the questions, hopefully, that you wanted asked, and I would love to know your thoughts. So you do leave comment in the show notes for episode 206 over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, and Paul has kindly provided me with his contact details, phone number and email address, if you want to contact him to have a discussion about either the health side of his product or the wealth side of his product, or a network marketing discussion in general. So I'll give those details out at the end of the interview. This is not just a discussion about network marketing. Paul's journey, his life journey, is mind-blowing. And he so beautifully shares some insights into some pretty dark places that he's been to. And in fact, one of the things he says is that up until 7 years ago, his life was a lie. Now he's 62. So he's now living the dream and loving what he does. So it's an amazing personal journey as well. I started off by asking Paul, what the hell is multi-level marketing?
How do I look? How do I feel? Yes, well, another term for it is network marketing, and what I believe is just sharing your information with other people, and so goods and services can change hands just by word of mouth. So really, MLM is word of mouth advertising.
That's interesting definition, Paul. It feels like it's more than that to me, because word of mouth, yeah, tell me more about that, because word of mouth advertising is when you get other people either voluntarily or involuntarily to talk about your business. But MLM, there's a business structure to MLM that word of mouth doesn't have.
Well, one of the things that we've developed, we've got a system and a duplication. So what we do with our business, we teach people to duplicate and follow a system that is very, very easy and simple. Just like McDonald's have got their system. Would you like a shake? Would you like some fries? Or would you like a Coke? So it's very simple. Well,
how does it therefore differ from, because that's what people buy into a franchise for the system. They go, well, I could start a shoe repair business, but instead I'll buy Mr. Mint because they've got a system. So how does a franchise differ from a multi-level marketing business?
Well, the great thing about this, you don't have to outlay a lot of money to get a franchise. Like you can start
to get a multi-level marketing franchise.
Yeah, to get your own, to get involved in MLM, you can get involved for like from $500 up to $1,000. And with a franchise, you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars, or sometimes up to millions of dollars to get started.
Yep.
So this is very, very cheap that anybody and everybody can do.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so word of mouth. It's all about duplication. There is also, tell me about what's the difference between an MLM business and a pyramid scheme?
Yeah, great question. That props up all the time. I hear that a lot of times, especially with a lot of new people that get involved in it. MLM is completely different because the great thing about MLM, the person at the bottom can overtake the person at the top. But all major structures are made under the pyramid system. Like if you look at all companies, there's one CEO at the top. Then there's generally managers, and then there's generally supervisors, then the employees are down the bottom. It's very, very hard for the employee to become the CEO because there's only one CEO. But the great thing about this, anybody can overtake the person above them. So it's a very, very strong structure, the pyramid structure, and all our businesses are virtually developed like that. Like the army, you have generals, then you have majors and lieutenants and corporals. Then even in religions, you have the Pope and the clergymen and all that sort of stuff. So virtually they all run along the same system. But to make it the actual term for it, for a pyramid, if no goods and services change hands, that's illegal.
Yeah.
So that's a pyramid. So that's the real major reason. But the great thing about we do have goods and we do have services changing hands, which is very, very important. And that's what most people don't understand about the pyramid structure.
Yeah, that's a defining point of defining difference. I was actually I'm going to continue the line of this conversation first, Paul. I do want to get stuck into your story post leaving the police force, but I'm just going to save that because we're in now, and I'm interested to continue the whole MLM definition, kind of understanding the business. Why then has MLM got a bad name in some circles? There's some people you could go to and go, love it, I've been involved in one, did really well. Others will just go, oh, stay away from that with a barge pole.
Yes, that's another great question there. I think...
Welcome to the show of great questions, Paul.
Yeah, you're a very good interviewer. I'm very excited.
Good.
So I've been involved in the MLM industry for 30 years, so I've heard it and seen them all. I think what happened back in the like 70s and 80s, a lot of people got hurt by the way they promoted their business. So like they would invite people around for dinner, then they'd pull out their whiteboard and start talking about their businesses. And I think that was the major thing. Things have completely changed now, especially with our group and our team. Virtually, we are full 100% professionals, and we do not run our businesses like that. And I think that's and sometimes a lot of people blame the company for not having success, which is another thing. Because the first people they blame is they don't blame themselves, they blame the company for not having their success.
Yeah, well, I hear that. I come across a lot of franchise groups, and if you speak to a franchisee, it's not uncommon for them to pay out on the franchisor. Oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and as a result, I'm not getting this or I'm not getting that. And that always fascinates me because you pay a reasonable license fee to get into a franchise because you like the brand and you clearly like the way that brand went about doing its business and the product or service it sells. So you'd think you would therefore leave it to the franchisor to get on with doing more of that. But yeah, often us humans, we're good at finding people to blame.
And we also make excuses as well. So blame, excuses, and we stay in our comfort zone. That's the three things that I see that a lot of people do.
Yeah, right. So the bad name that's in some circles around MLM, there's a historical basis to that because I'm kind of summarising what you've said is that in the 80s or 90s there were bad MLM businesses and it was ugly and you would go to someone's home and they would pull out the whiteboard. That's a hangover. That hangover continues now. I mean, I've tested it, knowing that you were coming on the show by again saying MLM, and you get mixed results. What else is behind that bad taste?
Well, for instance, here in Australia, like I joined with Amway 30 years ago. That was my first company that I joined 30 years ago. And one of the things that I learned back then is it's not the company. It was never, ever the company. It was only the people, the way they promoted their businesses. Because the company today is still going today after 60 years. They're doing $12 billion a year in sales right now. So that's over $1 billion a month in sales. So it was never, ever the company. It was only the way that people were promoting it. So,
interesting.
But I believe now that it's very, very changed a lot now, and it's more exciting now.
That's interesting. Gosh, Amway's been around that long, and it must be doing something right.
Oh yeah.
Is this bad taste? I mean, I've got listeners in over 110 countries, including Madagascar, may I say, as of this week, because I got an email from a listener.
Wow!
So, yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It could be Prince Julian from the film Madagascar. I don't know.
Yeah.
But is this bad taste, Paul, specific to Australia? Are there American listeners right now going, what on earth is Timbo talking about?
No, it's the same in the US. It's the same in Canada. I've just returned from a talk in the US, a conference over there, and we had 11,000 people there. And it's the same in the US, and it's the same in Canada. So people have gone through the same things, you know. And it all gets down to the people's belief in that as well. And because if you don't believe you're deserving and worthy of success, it doesn't matter what you do. You know, you'll blame something for your not being a success in anything. And that's just common in anything we do.
Are there some products that are more suited to the MLM structure of business than others?
Yes, that's another great question, because we're in the health and wellness field. So we're part of the 5 fastest growing trends in the world right now. Number 1 is weight loss and weight management. Number 2 is more energy and performance. And I'm not talking about in the bedroom, but it's more for the athletes. Then we've got healthy and youthful aging. And number 4 is online shopping. Truly, this has really changed our business. Online shopping has changed the world right now because of the internet. So, you know, I asked the question the other day. There was about 500 people in the room, and 80% of the people put their hand up for buying online. So that's really changed our business now. And also on that, this is why Warren Buffett, Richard Branson and Donald Trump have all invested in their own network marketing companies right now. Because the way we distribute goods, yes, it's completely changed the world right now. So these guys are all billionaires, so they can see the trends that are coming. And also, number 5, we can help people not only with their health, but we can also help people with their wealth as well.
Buffett, Trump, Branson, three rather big names in business.
Well,
all have bought, of recent years, a multi-level marketing business.
Yes, and then you've got Robert Kiyosaki and Jim Rohn and John Gray and all these people all promoting MLM right now.
Right. That's fascinating. Do you know what Buffett, Trump and Branson's businesses are?
Well, virtually, I think Branson's is cosmetics. Trump's was telecommunications. And Buffett, well, he's invested in 3, which is something to do with health and wealth as well.
I did see that Trump one. I saw that a few years ago. Is he out of that, or is he still in it?
Well, I'm not sure now.
Right.
I think he's got interest in everything, so I wouldn't really know.
Yep.
I know that him and Robert Kiyosaki went into that together as well.
Goodness me, big names.
Well, yeah, and people don't realise what's going on there, because if these guys are getting involved, there's more to it. And then we just had a presenter, Paul Zane Pilsner, was one of the top economists in the US, and he was advisor to the US, two US presidents, and he's also advisor to India on their health structure right now. So he's senior consultant. So he believes the health and wellness industry is the next $1 trillion industry.
Wow. I mean, it's not a new industry, and people are always, aging population and people wanting to, stay fitter longer, all that type of stuff. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, the baby boomers.
The baby boomers.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, let's that's good, mate. That gives me and hopefully the listeners a rounded view on multi-level marketing, what it is, what it isn't. I'll have some more questions around that, but I am interested in your story. So you left the police force in when? What? I don't want to do it. This is your life or a biography of Paul McInerney. But when did you leave the police force?
Well, I left school when I was 16 because my teacher said, you either leave school or you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah,
so
you'd amount to nothing.
I'd amount to nothing, so I left, and then I joined the police cadets in 19...
Hang on, I didn't want to do it. This is your life.
No, 1968. So 1968 to 1983, I was in the police. And
why'd you leave?
Sorry?
Why'd you leave?
Well, I had a nervous breakdown, to tell you the truth. I got involved. My son died, and my brother died, and then I got involved in a car accident. Then one day I went to my car, and on the windscreen it said this could have quite easily been a bomb. So they found out who I was. So that night I was transferred out of Newcastle, and my family, and we were gone that night. So there was a lot of stress around that time.
Wow, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
That is a good reason to leave. You left under pretty extreme circumstances. Did you know what you were going to do, or you just needed to move on?
No, I just had to move on because I was just sitting at home. I was drinking, feeling sorry for myself. I didn't have a clue. And actually the police doctor, the police medical officer, told me to go and learn how to relax. And so that's when I did my first personal development course. So that was back in 1984. So I've been learning and studying ever since.
That's interesting. Again, how many successful small business owners have I had on this show that, personal development comes up in the conversation? At that point in 1984, when someone says go and do some PD, what kind of bloke were you? Were you going, oh, really? That's for sissies?
Well, I was down and out, and I was virtually ready to flip off the planet.
Right.
So at this stage, I would have done anything because
two choices.
I was on taking medication. I was drinking, and I was off my face for 18 months. So
right.
I was down and out. So whatever he told me, I was ready to do because I was at my ends tether.
And you obviously, what did you do? What was it? Was it that first course that changed everything?
Yeah, that was definitely. I went to a course by a guy called Paul Blackburn, and Paul was working with the Institute of Sport down in Canberra, and I went to his course, and virtually he took me under his wing and mentored me, and then I started teaching Paul's courses on the personal development. So it really sort of put me on the road of reading and learning.
I'm interested, Paul, to understand that moment. There must have been a moment where you've started doing this course. You're in the absolute a bad, dark place. You've started doing this course. Can you remember when the light switch flicked on?
Well, I was. The defining moment was when my brother died, actually, because then I just lost the plot, and I was out there drinking heavily and doing crazy stuff and that, because I said, okay, this is my life. I want to live it to the fullest, because he was only 31 at the time and died of cancer. So I thought, whoa, I'm going to go hard here. But then in the course, what he said, you've got to let go of the past and virtually just focus on the present. Mm-hmm. So I started living in the now, and that's when it really started to change my life, living in the now.
That's it. It's good advice. Don't look back. Look forward.
Yep. Yeah, I find that a lot of times, a lot of people, they look back and they're reliving their lives over and over again. So I had to let go of all that, you know what I mean? So I've really come to grips and to terms with that, which has really changed my life. But then I can also help other people because I haven't just read it from books. I've got real life experience.
Yep. No more if only. No more trying to re-engineer the past.
Yeah.
So you that's fantastic. You came out of that dark place thanks to a fellow, Paul Blackburn. I must look him up. And you then what happened? When did you go? You became an Amway distributor at a point in time. Did you? Is that the first thing you did?
Yeah, 1985, and I was taken under a wing by a couple called Peter and Debbie Cox, and they're virtually one of the top MLMers in the world and right now. And so they mentored me and helped me and taught me everything. And the things that I learned 30 years ago, I'm now teaching to other people now, which has helped us be successful.
Well, two questions there. Did the Cox family take you in for what you thought was going to be a dinner party and pull out the whiteboard?
No. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, they might have.
No, it wasn't quite like that.
Not quite like that.
No. They took me under their wing because they could see something in me, and they saw the potential. And I couldn't see it in myself, but they saw something, and they believed in me more than I believed in myself. And I just listened to everything they said, and completely changed my life.
Okay, well, I'm sure they said a lot, and I'm sure it happened over a long period of time, but. Can you give me a top 3 things that they said that you continue to use this day in your business and helping others grow theirs?
Yep, good question. And they said always don't come from the head, come from the heart. Mm-hmm. So when you're helping people, virtually just come from the heart. Share your life experiences, because that way you're helping people to with your knowledge and wisdom. So by focusing on helping others, you will become successful.
Right. Is that the second one?
Yep, that's the second one. And also, the more people you help, the more successful you will become.
Okay, so that's all around. I'm just jotting these down because I want to go down those rabbit holes. The more you help, more success comes your way.
Yep.
Okay, so don't come from the head, come from the heart. Tell me more about that.
Well, instead of giving facts, a lot of people give facts and they give people too much information. What we do when we sit down with somebody and we're building, one of the major things we do, we build relationships with people, because this is a relationship business. So what we do, what
business isn't, by the way?
Oh, true. Everything's relationship. But, so we know why they want to build the business. We sit down and find out why they want to build the business. So some people might just earn an extra $500. Some people might be to retire their husbands. Some people might want to just have...
Get rid of their husbands.
Yeah, get rid of that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and then a lot of people just might have their kids go to a private school, or they want some extra cash for travelling. So we focus on why they want to build it. It's not on what I want for them; it's what they want for themselves. So we really do focus and we really dig deep to find out what they actually want.
That's interesting. I don't think we do enough of that in business. I went out to make a big purchase today. I won't go into the details, but it was a big purchase in my mind, and I was, not massive purchase, but I was kind of hoping that the salesperson would kind of ask what my needs were and what my circumstances were, as opposed to going straight into the various products that I guess they wanted to sell me.
Yes.
But like if he had have spent, 10 or 15 minutes just going, well, explain, how you're going to use this and what you're going to use it for and what you're currently using and what you don't like, like those types of questions, I would have felt they would have got a better understanding of my circumstances and could have provided a tailored solution to me. Secondly, would have developed a whole lot of rapport.
Oh, for sure. Because when I sit down with them, and even what Suzanne does, my partner, she does the same thing. She's excellent at doing that because, we know their partners' names, their children's names. We know their dogs and their cats' names and virtually what they want because, in this business, same as any business, when they get into a trough or they start to doubt themselves, I always bring back their why. Why are you building this business? What do you want to achieve? So, because, everybody goes through their slumps, especially in this business and every business, really.
The cynic in me would just say, surely everyone just says, I want to be a millionaire.
No, that's really strange because they don't want that because sometimes people can't relate to that because it's too big a dream. A lot of people don't believe they're deserving or worthy of becoming millionaires. So it's really difficult when I sit down with them because to tell people that we're earning over $1 million a year, it's really, I don't really do that because they can only relate to like earning 25 or 30,000. So if they're earning 40 or 50,000, I only talk about replacing their income of 40 or 50,000 because then they can relate to that. Because then they've got the option when they get to that, they've got the option to go full time into the business.
Okay, so don't come from the head, come from the heart,
Yep.
and that is all about I guess showing empathy. Showing compassion and knowing that there's a marketing principle that I think it's called post-purchase cognitive dissonance, Paul. Hey, I want you to say that 3 times fast. Go.
Oh, yeah, I can really say. Let me give you an example.
Well, hang on. I can't leave that. I just need to finish that story. I think what it says is that people buy on emotion. They rationalise their purchase rationally. So they will then go back at a point in time. The head will kick in, and they'll look at the numbers or the build quality of something that they've bought or something that's more rational than it is emotional, and that rational stuff does tend to kick in later on. My guest last week, creator of an online accounting software, he talked all about this, all about you're selling emotion. Anyone who thinks they're selling, widgets are kidding themselves. You're selling emotion. Doesn't matter what you're selling. Go on.
Well, that's so true because when I got the phone call from a doctor friend of ours, Dr. Jerry Shaw, he rang me up and at the time I'd lost everything 4 years ago. I remember crying into my beer because I never had enough money to buy Christmas presents for my grandchildren. And at that time I said, this will never, ever, ever happen again. It was probably one of the worst times of my life, and I made the decision that I'm moving forward. And then
I want to go back to that. So keep going.
And then about 2 weeks later, it was like a destiny call. I got a phone call from Dr. Jerry Shaw in the US, and he said, Paul, he said, I want you to try these Isagenix products. I've got 150 of my patients on there getting amazing results.
Was he a mate?
Yes, he was a friend from a long time ago. And I said, Jerry, I'm not interested. Don't even talk to me. Number one, I haven't got any money. And number two, I haven't got the time to build another business. And then he said the magical words to me. He said, Paul, how's that working for you? And I was like, whoa, it was like a stab in the heart.
How's that working for you?
How's that working for you? And I was like, oh, Jerry, it's not working for me. And then he said the magic words, Paul. He said, look, I want you to try the products. You've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't get the results, send it back. So, and that's how I got involved with the company.
Right, with Isagenix. Okay, well, hold that thought because I do want to finish these other 2 bits of gold that the Cox couple shared with you. So the second one was share life experiences. Yep. What's that mean?
Well, a lot of people they read books and they virtually just they talk about facts. But facts tell, but emotion sells. Like what you said before, get people emotionally involved with you. Find out what they want. It's not what you want. So get emotionally attached to the people. by telling your life stories and telling other people's stories.
So you're talking about
stories are so important.
Yeah, so you're talking about storytelling's everything. Again, in fact, the people that introduced me to you, Troy and Zara, who are my public speaking coaches, if there's the one thing that they have helped with me is the development of stories. Because, as business owners, we know our stuff. If you're a plumber, you know how to unblock a sink. If you're a vet, you know how to fix my dog. But in order for me to become a customer of you, the vet, or you, the plumber, the ability for you to tell me stories is amazing. If any business owner that can construct stories, there might be the story. I had a lady on the show episodes ago, Paul, a lady called Valerie Koo. She's written a book called the 8 Power Stories, the 8 stories every business owner must tell. I know she listens to this show, so she's probably going to drive off the road. She listens to me on long drives, which is kind of that's how I keep her company. So Valerie, eyes on the road, please, hands on the wheel. Storytelling, powerful stuff, underutilized. So do you, when you find someone's circumstances, do you then look for a story within you that may resonate with them?
Yes, because of our experience, like we have 36,000 people in our team, so obviously I can relate lots of stories of personal stories and personal successes and personal failures. So from those 36,000, we have many, many, many stories so that we can relate to, which is very, very important. So when I meet somebody, what I try and do to them is then introduce them to somebody that has a similar story. And then they can relate to those people. Yeah,
right. You're a connector.
Yeah.
You are a connector. What's your... I'm just going to digress here. What is your superpower?
Oh, geez, I've never had that question before. Superpower.
Let me just go and get some more questions you haven't had before while you think about that.
Well, probably I love people, and my secret is I come from the heart. I see it. I just call it as it is. And that's the secret of our success.
Are you a bloke at some point, going to go out on a limb here, did you realise that this is going to sound so rude? You can tell me off if this sounds rude. At some point, Paul, did you think, you know what, I'm not the smartest bloke. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I don't do numbers. I don't know all the fandangle goings on behind big business. But what I am bloody good at is I've got a high emotional intelligence, and I love people, and that's what I'm going to use going forward.
Well, as I said, I left school at 16 and virtually just to virtually up the teacher, really, and then virtually. Undercover in the police, you don't have to be real smart to do that, but it was very dangerous. So I was mixing with murderers, and I was around when there was murders being taken, lives were taken, and people were being bashed and fingers and things chopped off. So You can imagine I was ending up like them. So I've had to completely change my personality. So I was really, really hard person. So then I had to switch over and virtually come from the heart, and that's why we're having so much success right now.
And when you made that switch, did it? Who's the true Paul? Are you now 100% comfortable in your skin, and back then you were living a lie, or was that?
My whole life was a lie till I was 55. So my whole life has just been complete lie till, as I said, to 55 years of age.
How old are you now?
62.
Unreal. Gosh,
thanks for that, mate. 7 years ago, I found myself.
God. Thank you, mate. We haven't finished yet, by the way, but I do want to thank you for your honesty, and I don't know whether I'm digging too deep or whatever. You'll tell me. You've seen it all, mate. I'm just a little bloke on a microphone.
Yeah, I've been around the traps a few times, and I worked up at King's Cross Police Station for like 6 years. So
you've seen it all.
I've been in. I think I was involved in with 24 murders up there, and I think I was 32 suicides and drug overdoses. So I've seen it all, mate.
You have, mate. Number 3, thanks to the Mr. and Mrs. Cox, more help. the more help you give, the more success comes your way. Now, that again, like that, we hear that. It's like, at what point, if you're not hearing that, listener, is that going to not sink in? I talk about helpful marketing a lot. In fact, my keynote is called The Helpful Business, Paul. And I give examples, rational and emotional examples of businesses that are incredibly helpful. Every now and then I touch on the fact that, and I am no chemist, I am no biophysicist, but I do know that when you're helpful, it releases... I used to say dopamines, but dopamine. Makes, it's that drug that makes you feel good. Being helpful is a good thing.
Yes, that's for sure. John Gray talks about the dopamine a lot. So
right.
But let me give you an instance. Like, we've got the 36,000 people in our team, but that number have only come from 10 people. So we've helped, taught, and mentored 10 people. And those 10 people are all earning between $500,000 and $1 million a year. And then they've got another 20 earning between $250,000 and $500,000 a year. Then we've got about 50 to 60 earning 100 and upwards. But all we did was mentor 10 people, and now we have over 3,000 people joining us a month right now.
I look at this in the context of staff. Just, staff's such a problem with every small business owner I speak to. Attraction and retention of great staff. Yep. You said you helped you got 36,000 people in your, what did you call it? Your group?
In our team.
In your team. Yep. You helped 10 of them.
Yep.
Look what that's done for you. In terms of helping, what do you do?
Well, virtually, we find out their why. We teach them the personal development side of things, and we give them the system that duplicates. So everything that we know, we shared with them, and then they follow the system. They duplicate what we do. But the trouble is, in the corporate world, that doesn't happen so much because the boss doesn't want you to overtake them. So they keep some of the information to themselves. But we share everything that we know. We want them to be successful because, as I said, the more people you help become successful, that helps you as well.
Yeah, okay. So another penny drops, another MLM penny drop there, Paul. So you help. It's like employ people smarter than you. It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's like you find people that can be better than you. And it's just going to help grow your business. There's no pride. In fact, you want nothing more than people in your team, at its most basic, to earn more than you.
Yeah, most of them are more brighter than me, but there's a couple not quite as bright as me.
And hello to you too, if you're listening.
Yeah, I hope they're not listening.
Would they know who they are?
Yeah, no.
Oh, I love that.
We love them all. We love them all.
Love them all. But they're probably very high up in the emotional intelligence, They're
hearts on legs. They are truly hearts on legs.
I love that. All right, mate. Well, listen, they're 3 good tips. Now, I am going to... You got into Amway. I'm going to fast forward here because we're running out of time. You told me a story when I first met you. You were running it. You had a multi-level marketing business. You were living in Bali. You rolled up one day to the business's head office in Bali, or its Bali office. Yep. And what happened?
Well, we knocked on the door and virtually they closed the office down on us. So overnight. So we were clueless. We had no idea.
Were you doing okay? Were you kind of making a quid?
Oh, yeah, we're doing very well. And we had thousands of people in our business and, so we were crying and they were all crying. So we found them a new home with another company. And then Suzanne and myself, we come back to Australia with our tails between our legs. So that was it for us.
I reckon I don't know whether you don't want to share, but you underplayed that.
Yeah, well, we lost everything. We virtually lost everything. We lost our home. We were completely broke, and we were never going to get involved with another company again. And then
Suzanne, this is your lovely wife,
Yep.
had an accident also during that time, didn't she?
Yeah, she had a serious spinal injury, and she couldn't walk. And so 2010 was the year from hell for us.
2000, mate, that's 4 years ago.
Yeah, only 4 years. Everything we did went bad. And it's amazing what a decision can make. When I said that this is never, ever, ever going to happen again, we also, at the time, we had to borrow money off Suzanne's daughter, Katie, just so we can pay the bills. And so it was a devastating time for us. Absolutely devastating.
Well, the second one, you've moved back to Australia. You literally, I can't imagine the detail of that. That would send most into a meltdown. You got back to Australia. You borrowed money from your wife's daughter.
Yep.
What did you do? I don't know. I've been so many questions there. How the hell did you get to talking to me now?
Well, virtually, and then we met the owners of the company.
Of Isagenix.
How? And, well, through Jerry Shaw, the doctor, and we had to be very, very careful because Suzanne, my partner, she was a ballerina. She danced all around the world, and she was Lady Diana's personal trainer for 3 years, and Barbara Streisand and Bette Midler. So we had to check out all the products, and we took all the products to biochemists and make sure the products were all approved, and they're all approved by the TGA here in Australia. So we did 3 months due diligence before we spoke to the owners. And then when we sat down with the owners, we knew that they come from the heart, and they didn't come from the head. So besides that, they were billionaires, so they didn't need the money. They didn't build this company for money because they were already billionaires. So it wasn't about that. And when we sat down,
if they were billionaires, well, there's a couple of things there. 3 months of due diligence. That was 3 months after coming home from Bali and being in a very dark place, and Suzanne's in a wheelchair, and so. Yep. God, how you found? You got some resilience, mate. Secondly, again, I just let me get my cynic hat. Hang on, yeah, I've got my cynic hat on again.
Put it on.
If they were billionaires, why? And they'd invented Isagenix, why didn't they just go and best case scenario, give it to anyone who would benefit from it? But that's just we are all in business and we're not charities. Why did they go and start it in an MLM structure, which was going to make a lot of money?
Well, this is really interesting. This is one of the major questions I asked. Why did you get involved with MLM? And then in the 1970s, he owned 123 gyms. So he's one of the first people to own gyms in the US. And then when he sold them in the 1980s, he became very, very wealthy. A big company come and bought him out. And then he became the CEO of the Cambridge Diet, which was the first diet in the world. And virtually he took that business to $1 billion accumulative sales in just 30 months. It was one of the fastest companies in the world to ever achieve $1 billion turnover. And then he retired and became wealthy again, and virtually he was retired for 12 years, and then he got asked to come out of retirement and set this company up, and that's exactly what he's done.
Okay, so he's gone ahead and done that. This Dr. Shaw bloke has heard that you have hit a low point, having lost everything in another MLM business. Just, you don't have to say who it was. What were they selling? What was the product?
It was like a gel, a sports gel.
Right. Okay. So that's sent you, bankrupt almost.
Yep.
So Dr. Shaw's called. He says, "Try this out." You're going, "Not again." You have 3 months of due diligence. It's passed the test as a product.
Yep. Well, in that 3 months, I come back. I was 114 kilos. I was stressed. I had a big stomach. I was just,
mate. Where did all this personal development go?
Well, virtually over in Bali, this all happened virtually in October to January. I just went on a drinking binge and just eating, and I just went crazy. So it was just
a lot of nasi goreng and bintang.
Oh, well, lots of bintang and a lot of mixture of drinks. Yeah, so I just lost the plot. But and virtually it was really easy to put it on. But I lost 10.5 kilos and 12 inches in my first 30 days. Then I lost 28 kilos and 29 inches in 90 days. So I knew that we were on a winner.
This is as a result of the Isogenics product.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I noticed and I don't come across many MLM opportunities, although I have had a number of listeners approach me because of the nature. I'll put myself out there on the podcast. Some of them cut straight to the business case as opposed to talking about just how good a product it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so you've obviously gone and you've walked the talk. You've tried it, it's worked. Yep. And now you're going, well, is this bloody good? Then I'll sell it.
Well, here's the thing. 82% of our people that are on Isogenics are virtually just product users, which gives you a great indication because that's where the residual income comes from. So if they weren't getting great results, they wouldn't be reordering every month, which is very, very important.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing then in 2000. So when did you sign up to become a distributor of Isogenics? In 2010, 2011?
No, January 2011. January the 18th, 2011.
Right, 3.5 years ago.
Yep.
Now you're making $1 million a year.
Yep.
What did you? I'm guessing you applied those 3 principles again. You just picked yourself up off the ground. Suzanne got better, and You've just, again, have you applied those 3 principles?
Well, Suzanne was completely negative and skeptical and wanted nothing to do with anything. So that was a work in progress. She wasn't right on board like I was. So, so that took a lot of work for her to believe. And she got her belief when she sat down with the owners, Jim and Kathy Hoover.
Right, okay. And then what? One sale at a time. How do you build a business like that coming out of such a dark spot?
Well, when I got good results, the amazing thing was people were asking me, Paul, what are you doing? You look fantastic.
Gotcha.
And then I just, that's the magic question. What are you doing? And virtually, I didn't even have to really promote because they'd seen that I'd lost 10 kilos and then 15 kilos, then 28 kilos, and it was the best I'd felt in 30 years. So I was now running and exercising. I felt fantastic in myself.
Okay.
And then at that time, I felt like 10 foot tall and I was bulletproof. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Before I was 1 foot, in the grave.
Yeah, okay. So you got a whole lot of people asking you, geez, Paul, you're looking good. What have you done? You hold up the Isogenics jar and say, here, this is what I do. At that point, it really they're selling themselves. They're saying, I need some of that. And 1 out of 10, I don't know, whatever the number is, then say, well, you must then have to say, well, there's actually a business in this as well.
Well, yeah. And number one, they've got to try the product so they get the belief. So then they're speaking from the heart and not the head. So the products are very, very important. And the great thing about that, we've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if people don't get the results, they can send that back. So that's really, really important part of it. But then also the business side of it as well, because 60 to 70% of people hate their job, they hate their boss, or both. So we've got to really, we've got 5 of the fastest growing trends in the world, and then with all these people hating their jobs and hating their work, it's just a recipe for success.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. So now you are. What's a day in the life of Paul and Suzanne look like?
Well, our lifestyle has completely changed. We've been on 16 trips around the world, and this year we've been to Bali. We just got back from Alaska.
Jeez, I'm surprised you went back to Bali after all that.
No, and we're going back next week. Next week we go to Bali for a week, then we go to Paris for a week, then we go to Italy for a week, and then we come back in November. We go to Vietnam. We open up in Vietnam, then we open up in Indonesia. So then we've got access to another 350 million people.
You are living the dream. Living the La Vida Loca, as Ricky Martin would say.
but when you think about Tim, 4 years ago, we were down and out, truly down and out. So it really we really have, and the thing that I love most, we're changing people's lives. You know, these 10 people that we've got, they've retired, and some of the ladies, they've retired their husbands, so their families are completely changed now, and then they're changing people's lives, and then we're duplicating what we've taught them, and it's just going down the line. So we're changing people's lives.
Yeah, well, any business that can do that, it's wonderful. I even in my little podcast, this show that people are listening to, you know, the amount of emails I get that listeners use those words. Sometimes I just, you know, you changed my life. I listened to the show, you know, left my work and started myself a business or had a business and have taken it to another level. I mean, it's very humbling. And any business that can do that, it's great to be a part of, I must say. I have again, when I got introduced to you, I'd heard of Isagenix because I've got 2 mates, both of which lost a significant amount of weight as a result of it. The other one was fit. He just got fitter as a result of it. So, again, that's my skepticism around this type of stuff is the product's got to be good. Yeah, there might be a really fandangled business model that is called multi-level marketing and, you know, we all get rich and all that type of stuff if you're involved. But, you know, the product's got to be good. And so it's nice to have the horse in front of the cart, as they would say. I don't really want to finish on a marketing... Oh, that sounds ridiculous. I don't want to finish on a marketing lesson. It's a bloody marketing show, Timbo. Mate, MLMers, you're bloody good at systems and duplicating things. And I know there's a lot of business owners out there who don't have systems and are constantly recreating the wheel each time. Can you just... What's that systems and duplication thing all about?
Well... Just take our business here in Australia. Well, we're up 380% on last year's figures. Now, any company would be jumping for joy if I had 10 to 15%. We're up 380%. Suzanne and myself business. Here's the secret. Suzanne and myself, we're doing about $2 million sales a month. So we're doing about $25 million a year right now. Number one, we have no overheads. We have no staff. We have no rent. The only overheads we have is virtually our phone and our computer, and we can work from home, and we choose who we work with. And I love that, you know. I love just the freedom of choosing who you work with and not being told who you have to do this. And I'm a bit of a rebel, as you might imagine. I don't like being told what to do. And so that's why I think I left the police force, I think.
and the fact that the duplication is about the fact that when it's time to talk to someone about your product or about the business opportunity, the health or the wealth, there are... I'm sure you have key messages in place. You have a process for talking about things, one thing before the other. I think a lot of businesses don't. They just kind of they start from where they think's most appropriate. But there's strategy to the way you go about it.
Also, when I sit down with them, I virtually tell them up front that your success is up to you and your failure is up to you. But I'm here to help and guide you and mentor you so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I do. And then I find out, you know, do you like your job? And when I sit down with most people, they don't like their job. They want freedom. They want to be able to spend more time with their children. And when I know that, I can really help and guide them because, you know, and that's the secret of knowing why they want to do that. And that's why we duplicate, because we've taught our 10 people, they've taught their 20 people, those 20 people have taught their 100 people, and that's how we've duplicated ourselves, just like the McDonald's franchise.
Yeah, gotcha. Did I end up getting your superpower, Paul?
Superpower? What do you mean by that superpower?
Well, you know, what are you most good at? I can't remember whether you answered that or not.
What am I most good at?
What are you most good at? You a connector. You obviously a bloke who wears his heart on his sleeve, loves to tell stories.
I love presenting and telling the stories and just coming from the heart. And virtually, when you come from the heart, people know that you're being authentic, you're being real, and you know, I don't want people to go through the things that I've gone through. So my major mission was this, because this is willable to your children. So I've mainly focused on my grandchildren. I remember back crying, and that's why I changed my whole mentality about my working for my grandchildren. So that's what was my major purpose, and that's what drove me.
And still does.
It still does.
Love it, mate. I'm leaving it right there. That's a beautiful way to finish. Paul McInerney from Isagenix, thanks so much for sharing on Small Business Big Marketing.
Tim, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much. And if I could just help one or two people, change their lives or help with their business, thank you so much.
How do I look? How do I feel?
So, team, what do you reckon? I want to share my top 3 learnings from that interview in a moment, thanks to Net Registry and 99 Designs. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that interview and your thoughts on network marketing now that you've listened to Paul. What an amazing story he shared. What a journey he is on. Inspiring stuff. Here's the top 3 business lessons, marketing lessons that I got from it. Number 1, look out for trends and see if there's a way of applying them in your business. You could apply trends in product development, service development, social media discussion, even blog posts. So I like how Isagenix it is. I mean, it's tapped in to a massive trend around the world at the moment, which is health and well-being. Second tip, help. HELP. The more you help, the more success you get. I talk about this from stage with my keynote, which is called The Helpful Business. How can you be helpful? Well, it's not hard to be helpful. We don't do it enough. But think about in your customer service operations, your opening hours, your marketing materials, your payment terms. Just be helpful. And if all that's too hard, go and open the door for someone. Number 3, tip from Paul's discussion, share your life experiences. Be more open, tell stories. It's the best way of selling. We've spoken about it before. Get personal. You don't have to open entirely up, but when you want to make a point about your business to a customer or client, back it up with a story. It's a great way of selling. I would love to know what your thoughts were on that interview. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and leave a comment in the blog post. And Paul has kindly offered to share with you additional insights and answer any questions you have about either the health side of Isagenix or the wealth side of Isagenix and of network marketing in general. And he's kindly given me his phone number and email address to share with you. Phone number 0449 782 668. And put a +61 in the front of that, overseas listeners, and drop the 0 at the front. Or you can email Paul at Paul McInerney. I'll spell that. So it's Paul and then McAneny at yahoo.com.au. So, hey, continue the discussion on the blog, on the website with the show notes, or phone Paul directly and have the discussion. Hope you enjoyed that little fireside chat. Okay, so quote of the week. People, nice feedback on last week's quote of the week. This week's quote of the week, one of my favourite. Use it often. You ready? If you think what you've always thought, you'll do what you've always done. And if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. That just about wraps it up for episode 206 of Australia's #1 marketing show. Upcoming guests include past Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Jeff Kennett, Australia's leading humour coaches, Troy and Zara, and plenty more. Don't forget to join the forum. I love to see you inside. Love solving your marketing conundrums. A big thank you to Net Registry and 99designs.com.au/SBBM for making this show possible. And that's about it, team. May your marketing be the best marketing. See you next week.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reed. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.